Hello everyone, this is Suresh from Azure ADB. Today our topic is how to convert or flatten array into string by using concat underscore ws function. So concat underscore ws, it means concatenate with separator. So ws means with separator. So it flattens an array into single string by joining elements using a delimiter. So syntax is like concat underscore ws. So we need to pass first a delimiter, then we need to pass the column name here. So delimiter can be of either these types. One is comma, pipeline, or empty string. And column can be any array column. So here array column means the name of the column containing the array data. So that means array column should have data of array, and this syntax expects the elements within the array to be of string type. So that means the data should be of array of strings. Suppose if the elements are not string types, suppose example array of integer or array of long, then you need to explicitly cast them to string type first. So before applying concat underscore ws, you need to cast it, then you need to apply concat underscore ws function. So here I am creating one sample data frame. If you see here, I have two columns. So one is ID and second is skills. And this skills column, I have this array of elements. So first one is ID and this is array of elements. And if you see here, all are string values. See here, either string value, empty string, or null values, or array of all strings, and array of all null values, and empty array. So if I use the spark dot create data frame, so my data frame looks like this. And if you see the data type, so ID column, that is long type. And if you see this is skills, so that is array, and whatever inside element is string. So that means starting and ending it is square bracket. So that is array, and whatever inside elements. So these are all string data type. And if you try to expand this one, so here starting is array, and each element it is indexed from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now my sample data frame is ready. So now this is array of string elements. Now what I'm doing, I am importing the functions. One is concat underscore ws colon lit. And in mainly, if you see different scenarios here, concat underscore ws, it ignores null values inside array. So that means, suppose if you see first example, so here we have one null value. So whenever it converts from array to string type, it will ignore this null value and it will generate output only for these three values, these three elements. So Java, empty string, and Spark. At the same way, here also it ignores this null value. And if you see this one, all are we have nulls, so it will ignore these null values. And second point is, if array itself is null, so result will be null. So that means this one, array is null, so we will get output as null. And whatever we have empty strings, it will keep as it is. So these 3 points we need to keep in mind while generating concat underscore ws. So now what I'm doing, so on top of sample data frame, here I'm using with column method to generate multiple columns here. So my first column is flatten underscore comma. So that means my delimiter is comma here. So concat underscore ws, and here I'm using my delimiter as comma with space. comma with space. And if you see the syntax, concat underscore ws, one is delimiter and column. So delimiter is comma with space and column is skills. And if you see the output for this flatten comma, so this is our input column and our first output is this one, flatten underscore comma. So here we have array. So array of string elements. What it doing? It converting to string elements. So that means it converting array to string. So whatever elements we have in this, it will make it as flatten. So that means here it is array, data type is array, here it is string. So since we have all elements are string type, so we are getting all strings here. And if you see here, this is string type. And if you see this one, array of string. And second one, if you see here, first element Java is there. We are getting Java. And second one is empty string is there. So as per this one, keeps empty strings as it is. So that means after Java, see here nothing is there, but comma is there. So that means it considering empty string also. Next, Spark is there. Spark we are getting. So null it ignoring. So null we are not getting here. At the same way here also SQL, Excel we are getting. But this empty string if you see here, comma is there. So comma is there means here we have empty string. And at the same time scale, Scala, and inside that we have empty string. If you see here Scala, comma, R. And similar way here we'll get all commas, SQL, PySpark, Java. And if you observe here, SQL, comma, space is there. Why? Because delimiter I provided as comma with a space. So that is the reason after each element we are getting comma with space. And this fine, this is here. If you see Azure and null it ignores and Azure, comma, engineer. So only two elements will get. And if you see here, starting we have empty string. So that it getting comma. So comma means before that we have empty string and null it ignoring and it considering engineer. So comma engineer. And if you see here, since all are empty strings and we have two commas here, so we are getting two commas. So here I have all nulls, so it's generating null here. So that means nothing generating here. If you see here, if array itself is null, so result is null. Okay, so next two nulls are there, so it will ignore these two nulls, will get SQL as output. So this null it will ignore, this null it will ignore, will get only AWS. And here two empty strings are there, two commas, so we'll get two commas, comma, arrow. And we have empty array. For empty array, if you see here, we'll get as it is. So sorry, empty array. Somewhere it is mentioned, right? If you mention empty array, uh, ignores null values. If array itself is null, result is null. Okay, so we are getting nulls here. So this is about first delimiter, and second delimiter is I'm using empty string. So here, since our separator is double quote means empty string, so that means elements are directly glued together. And if you see here, and if you see here, this is our first thing. So first thing, so since the delimiter is empty string, we will get all these four continuously. See here, Java, Python, Spark, Java, Python, Spark, Spark SQL. See here, we don't have any delimiter. And similar way here also Java and empty string and Spark. Then null it will ignore. So Java's this empty string, empty string is nothing but nothing. So Java Spark. and here SQL Excel. So here for empty string, since we don't have any delimiter, we cannot see that. So Scala R. So Scala R. So in between we don't have any delimiter, so it getting continuous. And same thing will go for, if you see here, all three together will come. And here Azure engineer will come. And here empty, starting is empty, it null it will ignore, will get only engineer. So all are empty. Since we don't have delimiter, we'll get this, here it is empty. And since all are nulls, we'll get null. So first two nulls it will ignore, we'll get SQL. So first and last nulls it ignore, we'll get AWS. So first two are empty strings. So here first two empty spaces, then airflow. So here empty arrow will get empty. So like this, depends on delimiter, it will generate. So what is the difference is, it will convert a list to string. So otherwise, output is almost output, it depends on delimiter. So purpose is same. And suppose if you see this concat underscore ws, our delimiter is space backslash space. So that is flatten backlash. So this one, if I see the input, since we have all elements, and between each element we'll get space backslash space. And if you see here, Java space backlash, and we have empty string. For empty string we are getting empty, and space backslash space spark. And if you see here also same Scala space backslash r. Okay, so only difference is, depends on delimiter, it will give you the output. Suppose if you see here, first two are empty string. So for first empty string, we are getting space backslash, and for second empty space, we are getting space backslash space, and airflow we are getting. And null we are getting null, and if you see empty strings, two commas are there, so we'll get two backslash we'll get. And similar way here also, now delimiter is changed, that is semicolon with space. So semicolon with space is equal to this first one, comma with space. And if you compare this and this, only difference will be semicolon. Instead of comma, semicolon. So explanation is same. And similar way, pipe. So now my delimiter is space, pipe, space. And this is equivalent to this one, space, backslash, space. And if you compare this column and this column, output will be same. Only difference is delimiter. Okay, so here my main intention is to explain how to convert array into string. So this is array and this is string. So that is the main intention, because we can use different function to convert array to string, but I wanted to show that concat underscore ws also performs same thing. So, but normally concat underscore ws function will normally use for different other purposes, like for adding multiple string columns by using delimiter. If you see in my playlist, I created one video on concat underscore ws. So there I explained all the scenarios relevant to concat underscore ws. So on top of this, I found this is something new. Uh, since we have other functions to do the same thing, but very rarely we observe this. Concat underscore w also does same thing. So that's what I'm making separate video on this. Suppose if you see example array of elements. So here I have Scala and empty string and R. So now if I use a separator empty string, so that means this one, or you can say separator. Suppose if you are using empty string as the separator, then it will do nothing. So that means joining happens like this. So here first one is Scala and plus concat means it will do plus no addition combine. So plus and whatever we have empty string. So for that empty string, we are giving first this one plus. So that means this one. So this is one empty string and on top of that R. So this is R plus R. And if you see here, final result is Scala R because my separator is empty string. So if something, if my separator is comma or semicolon, then I will get Scala semicolon R. So input is the first one is Scala and second one separator. So this is nothing and whatever empty string is there, this contributes nothing and R. And if you see here, null is ignored in concat underscore ws, null is ignored. Even we saw in our previous example. So here I have array of string values. Here we have one null value. What concat underscore ws does is it will ignore this null value. So what will get output is Azure comma engineer. So it will ignore this one. So next empty string. Empty string is not ignored. So Scala empty string R. So here we will get Scala comma comma R. So this comma comma is here empty string and empty array to empty string. Suppose if we have empty string, then it will come convert to sorry. If you have empty array, then it will convert to empty string. Suppose if you see ID6 flatten underscore comma. So flatten underscore comma is this one. So empty string, empty string, empty string. Okay, so ID6. I think that is not ID6 empty array. So that is this one, row number 14. So empty array. This I need to update as 14. So for 14, if you observe, for empty array, we are getting all nulls here. Empty string we are getting here. So that is the meaning here. And Scala. So this is Scala first, then empty string. So here what happening is this is one empty string. This is one empty string. So here one empty string, then R. So Scala separator is empty string. So this empty string, three empty string. Okay. So here's something I'm missing about this logic. So I will update my notebook to provide correct thing here. So that's all about this video on how to convert array to string. If you really like this video, please like and subscribe. Thank